Hi there, I'm Rex King, and welcome back to Monday Night Movie, where it is the holiday season. And that means it is time for reviewers like me to review some holiday movies. Yay! So in case you can't tell from my absolute lack of enthusiasm, I am not the biggest fan of most holiday movies and holiday specials. I don't hate them by any means. I just find most of them redundant and the same setup, just with a different coat of paint done in multiple different movies. Now, that's not to say I don't have ones I like. I do obviously have holiday specials I enjoy. But most of the time, it's the ones that people have either not heard of or the ones that people consider weird and out there. Today, I'm talking about a special that fits both categories. The Munsters, A Scary Little Christmas. The Munsters, A Scary Little Christmas was a made-for-TV movie that came out in 1996. It's a spin-off holiday special for the Munsters. For those of you who do not know, the Munsters were a 1960s sitcom with the basic premise, what would happen if the Universal Monsters moved into suburbia? The show always followed the core Munster family, which consisted of Eddie, a young werewolf, Marilyn, a normal human, Herman, a Frankenstein monster, and Lily and Grandpa, both of which were vampires. The show has always had a huge following, which resulted in the show being revised several times, and several made-for-TV movies being released, including this one in 1996. The Munsters Scary Little Christmas was directed by Ian Erms, and centers around the core Munster family who are trying to cheer up Eddie, played by Bug Hall, who is down in the dumps and feels homesick for Transylvania. So the core Munster family decides to do several different things to try to boost his spirits. Lily, played by Anne Magnuson, tries to enter her and Eddie in a holiday decorations contest to try to get him a sense of community. Herman, played by Sam McMurray, tries to scrape up some extra cash to get Eddie a present he thinks he'll like. Marilyn tries to invite the extended Munster family over for Christmas. In doing so, she accidentally almost kills some poor sap because apparently she's the most beautiful thing since Aphrodite herself. Of course, she doesn't see it that way because, well, she lives with the Munsters. Then you have Grandpa, played by Sandy Barron, who is trying to make it snow. And here's where things start to get weird, because not only does Grandpa fail to do this, he accidentally transports Santa and two of his elves to the Munster household. Yeah, this is where things start to get a little weird, because the two elves, who are sick and tired of working on Christmas and want a vacation, decide to try to put Santa to sleep. In doing so, they turn him into a fruitcake. No, I didn't stutter, I said fruitcake. Oh, dear Lord. And to make matters even more interesting, the Munsters have to then try to convince the elves to help them while trying to revert Santa back to being Santa, and they end up also recruiting bikers to help them save Christmas. Now, if that sounds convoluted, ridiculous, and nonsensical, that's because, well, it is, and to be honest, I love it! This special is so weird and off the top, as the Munsters really should be. The different avenues that the special takes and the different plot points that it keeps adding adds to make a wonderfully done, weird special that feels like a Munsters Christmas special. It does have some cool Christmas joy elements in it that make it feel really good as a Christmas movie as well. You see, there are people who go through what Eddie is going through in this movie. A kid who's just moved from his home town or home country and is trying to adjust and is struggling to. It's nice that they show that and focus on that. Now, all the characters are written as they should be, and that's to be expected since, well, you have an entire TV show to draw from for inspiration to write these characters. The only character who's not written all that well or performed all that well is, unfortunately, Eddie. Most of the movie he spends down in the dumps, and even when he's supposed to revert to being happy, he still feels like he's just kind of there. Yeah, he's really depressing in this movie, and he doesn't have the energy I would expect a member of the Munster household to have. Now, again, I get that he's supposed to be depressed for most of the movie, but like I said, when he's supposed to be happy, he doesn't feel happy. And I can't tell if that's because he was written poorly or if because the actor just didn't know how to perform this character all that well. But I'm just going to say both are probably at fault. That being said, the other performers do their respective roles to absolute perfection. They nail down what the Munsters are supposed to be like. And it's definitely refreshing considering this year we saw that awful, awful Munster adaptation done by Rob Zombie, to see that people actually do know how to write the Munsters. Back in 1996, Rob Zombie. Yeah. I'm not going to go into that movie and ruin talking about this one, because this is the star of the day, and I really enjoyed this film. The visuals are another bonus for the film, because even though this is a made-for-TV film, it doesn't feel like that as far as the set design goes. The Munster household feels like the Munster household. It's a glorious Gothic mansion with several different rooms that feel like a cohesive core. And the makeup effects aren't that bad either. I would say that the makeup and costuming are really well done for a made-for-TV special. Obviously, they're not top-notch or cinema quality, but I would say they're up there with probably some of the best made-for-TV quality makeup and costume work I've seen. At the end of the day, The Munsters A Scary Little Christmas is a weird, fun ride, and I enjoy it start to finish. Now, there are going to be plenty of people who think this film's too over the top, too weird, and too convoluted. And that's fine. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But if you're into something a little weird, something a little different, and just want to have a fun time this holiday season, you could do worse than The Munsters A Scary Little Christmas. I give The Munsters Scary Little Christmas a 7 out of 10. Well, next week will be the Monday before Christmas. So I'm going to do something that will become an annual thing on the show. Look at a Christmas Carol adaptation. So let's start with the 1936 Scrooge. I'll see you then.